I say all that to say, like a 30-minute intro, that hey, I'm doing what the hell I want to do. That's what this is all down to. And what I want to do this week is to mood read some fantasy books. So even a full book in the series. This is literally just a 0.5. Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So we are back starting another reading vlog. And the wild thing about it is that like I had planned for this to be a reading vlog where I was going to do the spinner wheel stuff, and I was going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and blah 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 blah. And you know what? I don't have the energy. Like, I don't have the energy. And I don't want to do that. I want to do a week where I'm not attached to a theme. I'm not attached to a prompt. I just don't have the energy. I just literally want to read based off of vibrations. I just want to read what I want to read right now. I am in that spirit, in that mood. I'm in that place. I have a lot going on, and so it would just be nice just to be able to read whatever I feel like reading for the week. But I am in the mood for fantasy, so we're gonna mood read through some fantasy books for the week. I just, for some reason, that's just what has been calling to me. I think last week was more of a horror type of feel, but this week I'm feeling fantasy. So already up on deck, we are currently listening to Skandar and the Unicorn Thief. This is the first in the series. I believe the 5th book has come out. It came out in like August, I believe. But I've been meaning to get to the series for a very, very long time. I have a physical copy of it, but it's at work. I don't have it with me. I'll make sure that I bring it back home at some point. So there's that. It is really, really great. It focuses on a character by the name of Skandar who lives in this world where there are kids. By the time that they turn 13, they are trained to help hatch these unicorns, and they bond with the unicorns, and in their bond with the unicorns they have this elemental magic of sorts. It's a very interesting concept that I don't think I've necessarily seen in middle grade before. I think when I think middle grade fantasy and I'm thinking about mythical creatures, I'm always like more geared to think about dragons, and this definitely is not a dragon based this is not a dragon based story. It is unicorn. And so there are 4 elements, of course: earth, wind, air, fire. That's typically what ends up happening in elemental magic. However, in this specific situation, we are dealing with a possible 5th element. I don't want to get into too much of that because it is kind of spoilery, and it's very much so attached to how Skandar navigates the world. What I am liking about this book, it's very fast paced. I'm liking the writing style. I'm loving the characterization of middle grade friendships. I think friendship is always kind of a big deal or big theme in middle grade, but I think that it's done very, very well in this, and we have some interesting redeeming qualities about some characters. Like, they get their own individual redemption arcs, and all of the characters are 3-dimensional. One thing about me is that if you have a primary character that is going to be interacting with a whole host of secondary characters, it's always nice when those secondary characters have some personality, and they're all very complex characters with their own feelings and thoughts and how they navigate things. And it's very interesting seeing how their own family members and friends kind of influence how they perceive Skandar, how they perceive their own communities. There is a rich and deep history attached to the hatching of these unicorns, and they're bonding with these unicorns, but there's also wild unicorns. And I can't say this because this is kind of in the summary. It happens in the very beginning. We are dealing with what they called a weaver, and this weaver has a different type of magic and has created a complete mess of this competition that takes place every single year, and that's how it opens up. There's a lot of conversations about grief, parental expectations. Thematically, it's really working for me. Writing style is really working for me. Character development is working for me. This is one that I have taken my time listening to, and I've really just enjoyed it. It's just been great. It's been a time. So I have about an hour of that left to go. I'm going to go clean my kitchen. I have some Halloween cookies left over from the movie night that my daughter and I did last weekend, that I kind of want to dive into and get into, because I'm just feeling like it right now. It's just feeling like a cookie moment. I am going to go with a goal again. I know with my last week's vlog where I was reading translated works, the goal was to read 3 books for the week, and I think a 3-book, 4-book vlog is always a good time, right? I think that is such a happy medium, and one that I think the goal feels achievable for me. I think when I start setting these expectations to finish all of these books, it ends up going downhill very quickly. So I'm happy to be setting that simplistic yet very important goal of maybe just finishing up 3 books. Now, what else do I have going on? What else is on my TBR? I will be right back because I'm going to go get some possibilities that might be rather interesting. Okay, so I have this stack of books here. Hold on. I don't even think I can hold this up with one hand because it's so heavy. Yes, so here's the stack. Let's talk about a little bit of potential for this week. So first things first, I need to go ahead and jump into The Keeper of the Lost Cities. Okay, I've already technically read about 150 pages of this book. I just put it down, not because it was bad, but because I got into the mix of reading 1,000,001 different things, and I did not come back to it. I need to come back to this book because I need to continue through with the series. Now, I own the first 2 in the series and also book like 8.5. It's because I got them all secondhand, and I was just like, well, if the book is $2, I'm going to get it now. I know it's a series that I'm potentially going to want to read. So I will be continuing on with this. I do have the audio copy of this as well, so I may make this my next audiobook for the week, because like I said, I only have an hour left of Skandar, and I think that it might be a good audio fit. We'll see. But it follows a 12-year-old by the name of Sophie, who ends up finding out that she has the unique ability to hear other people. She's telepathic, and then come to find out that she belongs to a different community, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I may start this from the beginning. I remember some details, some aspects of it, but I think it might be fun for me to start from the beginning. I only have 1 library book on here, and that's because, once again, Ashley's trying to read all of her books that she has on her shelf. But I have Afia and the Land of Wonders by Mia Arujo. I don't know how to say her last name. She's an Argentine American artist, and I really don't know much about this book. I think that there was some controversy about the representation in this book, because the author does not necessarily share the same background. I'm just going to go into it, and I'm going to see how I feel about it. That's all I'm going to do. It is a highly illustrated novel. So because it is a highly illustrated novel, hold on, let me show you a picture, because this is literally the first page. It's really pretty. It's supposed to be like Alice in Wonderland-esque. So we'll see how that goes. But I need to get to that one because I need to return to the library. Some other considerations that I have for the week are 2 new releases that I actually had pre-ordered because I really did enjoy the first book in each one of these series. So the first one, of course, is The Rise of Neptune. This is the second book in the Dragon Ship series, which, if you know anything about me, you know that I had a time with The Last Dragon on Mars. This is the second book. I'm excited. It is a sci fantasy. It is a unique way to mix in dragons with Greek mythology. I loved down. The first book is one of my favorite books of 2025, even though the book released in 2024. I was not going to miss picking up the second book. I am excited about it. I think that one is really, really calling to me. And then I have the second book in the Impossible Creatures series, which Impossible Creatures I read last year and really enjoyed, and was shocked about how much I enjoyed it after sitting with the book for a while. This is another one that has, hopefully I won't spoil anything. Hold on. I'm trying to find an illustration, and I'm trying to find one that maybe won't spoil anything for me either. So you'll find illustrations like this all throughout this novel, which this one feels a little bit shorter than the first one. The first one ended on a very sad note, so I'm excited to see where this one picks up. But yeah, this is actually much short, because that's the glossary of the mythical creatures. So this one's only 250 pages. It is not long at all. This is definitely short. I could just tell by holding it. This one is shorter than the first one. So interested to see where the story is going to go in that. Although I know once I finish those, I'm gonna have to wait until next year, possibly, before I get another book, and that does not make me a happy camper. The last thing I'm reading, I am currently reading this book. This is an adult book, which means that I will be checking in about it, but I won't go into much detail necessarily about this one. But I am currently reading Priory of the Orange Tree. This book has been calling to me for several different reasons. So one, let's talk about it. One, I literally was just I looked at my shelves and I was like, dang, I just need to pick up this book. I need to pick up this book. And then when I originally was going to do this vlog, it was going to be a random spinner wheel that has prompts. So I was going to choose my TBR, and the first one that I ended up landing on was longest book on your TBR. So I have a app on my phone where I cataloged my entire physical collection, and I could sort it by page number, and the longest one I had that wasn't attached to a series was Priory of the Orange Tree, and I was like, that's just a sign. I felt the need to read it, and then I just happened to get this spinner wheel prompt that was going to put this as a contender for me to read. I was like, yeah. So it's just going to get done. Do I think that I'm going to finish this book by the time this vlog goes up? Absolutely not. I will just be happy even if I make it 50% through this book before the week ends, because I am reading this in multiple formats. I have a physical copy that I'm reading. I have an ebook copy that I got of this book a long time ago, because this was gifted to me, but I had bought when this book first came out, or not too long after it came out. The ebook was on sale for $1.99. I remember it, and I was like, oh, this book is never going to be this cheap again. So I bought the ebook, never read it. So I have the ebook, I have an audio copy, and I have the print copy to help me get through this. Y'all know for me, fantasy is a little different. And this year, I really wanted to challenge myself to step out of my comfort zone, because I typically read so much realistic fiction and contemporary and romance, and there's nothing wrong with that. I still love all three of those genres. I still read so much of those genres, but I wanted to step out and read things that I typically wouldn't pick up. Not to make some big declaration or anything like that, but simply because I feel like in my job, I've got to start broadening my horizons. I'm very good with recommendations, but when I'm asked for recommendations in horror, or I'm asked for recommendations in fantasy or sci-fi, anything that's more like speculative fiction, my recommendations they begin to struggle. And I only have but so many recommendations that I can give before it's like, oh yeah. I'm on a struggle bus here. So I have really pushed myself. I've pushed the envelope this year, and I've really broadened my horizons. And so it's difficult for me in terms of fantasy because there are a lot of moving pieces and parts when it comes to fantasy. And I think that fantasy a lot of times relies on a person's ability to imagine things. And you have to remember that I have aphantasia, so I cannot visualize things. And you think that for some reason it would probably be great, especially with fantasy where the world building is extensive and it's full of like details. It is, but those details don't necessarily help me build a picture all the time. It's still very blurry, and so I struggle with it, and so I have to find different ways to kind of navigate the genre. And because of the fact that the world itself is so extensive and I know that I can't visualize it, it's intimidating for me as a reader. With historical fiction, with contemporary, with romance, it's not so much visualization required of me, right? I still can process the story without having to think so much about the moving pieces and parts in a visual way. Whereas fantasy, I think for me, it requires a little bit more, and it scares me. And y'all didn't ask for this, but it explains why that genre, as such a avid reader, as someone who consumes a lot of books every single year, that's why I specifically struggle with that genre. Horror, I think I'm just a scaredy cat. To be honest, horror, I think I just had to just dive in. And I've read more horror this year than I've read in the past few years, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having a time. It's enjoyable for me. Do I have to sometimes ease up at night? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think that was just about sticking my toe in and being like, oh, okay, I can do this. Fantasy is a different ballgame, which is why books like this often call to me, because the illustrator often helps me visualize different aspects or concepts of the book that I can't necessarily do on my own. I also have a harder time remembering fantasy because I can't pull from those visual moments. So I'm taking this slow. I'm only about, I could tell you in this book, right? I'm not even 50 pages into this, to be honest with you. I don't think I am. I know I'm not. I'm not. I'm about 40 something pages into it, which is nothing. 40 something pages into this book is literally that bit right there. That's it. That's all I got for you. So that's it. I was going to film a video tonight, to be honest with you. I just don't have the energy, and I'm in the midst of hosting sprints. And so I'm just going to film and edit tomorrow. That'll just be my task that I get done tomorrow, because I'm going to do my Q3 check-in, my best and worst. And that video usually doesn't take me long, because I literally just say the number of books that I've read in the quarter, how many pages, and then I do my top 5, and then top 5 least favorite books, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But this week is about mood reading and just enjoying it. I have a lot of things going on that I have to plan and structure, and I did not want that in my personal reading life this week. I recognize that, and I'm glad that I'm able to acknowledge it, and I refuse to ignore it, because I felt like if I pushed myself to do another structure reading vlog that was theme based, in the sense that I did not have the flexibility that I want, I could have pushed myself into a slump. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't have enjoyed making the vlog. And I think that brought in just a bigger conversation for me about enjoying the content that I'm doing, right? Every once in a blue moon, it's nice to have that structure. I love that I'm doing like Herkit and stuff like that, but I also know me, and I need to be able to enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want this channel, and this is my biggest fear, I think. I don't want this channel to become who I was with my last channel, where content became a thing where it was, what can I do that's going to attract viewers? That, and I can be transparent and honest about that. That's what that last channel became, and I hated it because I don't think I was creating content that I wanted. I think I was creating content that I knew people wanted to see. The controversial videos, the social commentary that was going to get 20,000 views and go viral. But I think that on this channel, where my reach is not as big, I don't feel the pressures of having to keep up with the Joneses, right? You always want to be successful in some sense, where like you want your videos to do well, right? You want your content to perform well. But at the same time, I like to remind myself, like, this is not my full-time job. I really don't make any money from doing content anymore, to be honest with you. When I gave up that last channel, I also gave up the money that came with it, but the money wasn't worth it. Did that make things a little bit more difficult? Absolutely. It definitely did. But also, it's freeing, and it's a pressure off of my mind. So I say all that to say, like, a 30-minute intro that, hey, I'm doing what the hell I want to do. That's what this is all down to. And what I want to do this week is to mood read some fantasy books. So we're going to dive in, and whenever I have an update, I will let you all know. Y'all, I am gagged. Okay, so I literally have been reading all night. I'm filming a patron exclusive vlog right now, and I just finished the book for one of the books for that vlog, and I am completely and utterly blown away to smithereens. Anyway, that's not relevant here. We're here to talk about what I ended up doing between my clip yesterday and my clip today. So I have been reading The Rise of Neptune, which is the second book in the Dragon Ship series. I'm on chapter 29, which is about 266 pages in. If you have not read the Dragon Ship series, if you haven't, this is your sign that you need to read the series. This, hands down, is one of the best series that I've ever read in my life. When I tell you this second book is just as good as the first book, it is so good. It's so good to the point that, like, because I was listening to it on audio today at work. It's so good that, one, I was laughing to myself because the banter in this is really good. Two, there were some reveals in this and I was like, oh, when I tell y'all gagged, when I tell you gagged, this book is phenomenal. I'm loving it. 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 This is super unfortunate. The last book had, I think I can get it. Okay, I got it. Well, first of all, these look very pretty together, by the way. But the last book had the dragon on the inside of the dust racket. It had Dread. And I'm so sad that this one, the second one, doesn't have a full wraparound of the dragon. And when I tell y'all, the dragon reveals in this. So, okay, so maybe I should explain things. All right, so these are the two books. We read this for our Meet Me in the Middle book club, and this is a sci fantasy series that focuses on a specific human who's named Lunar, and he lives on Mars. Mars was how do we explain this? Humans are going to do what humans are going to do. So basically, we are existing in a world where the planets are closely associated with Greek mythology, right? And so Earth was ruled over, or was inhabited by, a dragon named Gia. If you know anything about Greek and Roman mythology, you know who Gia is, you know the Titans, etc., etc. So it makes sense that she would be aligned with Earth, right? And then you have Aries, okay, which would be aligned with Mars. You get the point where I'm going with this, right? So Gia gave up her life in order to allow humans to inhabit Earth. So humans had this brilliant idea that if they made Mars essentially kill himself, or if they killed Mars, then Mars would become inhabitable for humans. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and Mars is like, yeah, literally over my dead body, and like basically curses the entire planet. And so humans are there, but they cannot survive. And so in this first book, we're meeting Lunar and his group of friends, and there is this secret military type operative going on in the first book. And this is where he meets a dragon by the name of Dread, and they build a bond, and things go from there. I can't spoil it. I can't really say much about this one for the simple fact that this one picks up exactly where this one left off, and there are major spoilers in this book. I just want you to know that this is a phenomenal series, and I'm very pissed off at myself for starting this book, because now that means I will not have another book in this series until 2026 fall. I don't know what I'm going to do. If you like dragons, if you like sci fantasy, this is the series for you. I don't know how else to put it. These books are absolutely gorgeous. Simon & Schuster did their thing with this. I definitely want to share these two books. I'm going to do an Instagram post about these, because these are just, they're so good. And I plan on finishing The Rise of Neptune tomorrow. I'm not going to finish it tonight because it's late and I still have a whole video that I need to edit, but I wanted to finish that book that I was reading for the vlog. So I plan on finishing The Rise of Neptune tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I might do the next Skandar book. That might be my third book. I don't know if I talked about it in the intro clip to this, but trying to essentially read at least 3 books for a vlog, because you have to remember at the same time, I'm not just reading for this vlog. I'm also reading other things during the week. But I think that I might do the second Skandar book. I think that'll be my next one. I don't know what could come after that. I'm still slowly making my way through Priory the Orange Tree. I haven't gotten a chance to read much more than what I had made an update on yesterday. But I don't have much planned for this weekend at all. I think this is a slower weekend. I don't have anything planned. So I'm trying to figure out what I could read physically, because the next book that I have to read for the Patreon reading vlog it's not long. Let's see how many pages it is. It's not even 300 pages. So that, and the font is huge. Okay, yeah, so it won't take me long to read that. I probably will try to finish that over the course of the next 48 hours. So I need to find something to read Friday and Saturday physically for this vlog. I think I'm gonna definitely listen to the next Skandar book. I think that's a must. I may try for a Keeper of the Lost Cities book. I may go for that. I may go ahead and try to do that, but I just wanted to update y'all and let you know that I am in the process of listening to that second book, and it is so good. And I'm so upset. I'm 66% into that book. And now I'm like, what am I about to do? Because I'm literally going to finish this book and I'm going to have nothing left. Nothing will be left for me in this world. It's perfectly fine. It's all good. It's all good. All right. I will check in when I have another update. Hey y'all, so I am here to do a check-in. I ended up, today is the weekend. I ended up actually going out last night with two of my friends and kind of like a girls' night thing. And so I don't think I updated on Thursday, and then I absolutely did not read yesterday. It was just a lot. I want to like have a vlog like for the week where I'm not sitting here like, oh my gosh, it's just like so much going on. But I have been reading. Today I had anticipate like getting some cleaning and stuff done, but unfortunately for me, I just have not had the capacity. Honestly, I was completely and totally exhausted from this week, and I spent the day kind of lounging around. I already had told my kid, like, don't have any expectations to get anything done today, because it's just not gonna get done. Not get anything done in the sense that, like, I'm not running the streets today, because I'm too tired. And you would think, like, oh, well, then you would read all day. No, I literally just wanted to rot on my couch today, so that's what I did. Although I did end up reading a little bit. So it was, me, like, reading is a must. Like, I have to be reading at all times. It is what it is. All right, so what have I been reading? I already spoke to y'all about finishing The Rise of Neptune, which I think I talked about finishing The Rise of Neptune. I hope I did. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this footage, but I'm like pretty sure I talked about finishing The Rise of Neptune, and fantastic. I'm hoping I did. I don't know why I wouldn't. I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, and I go back and I watch this footage and I haven't talked about it, I will make sure in the next clip I do talk about it. But I did end up finishing that. And then the next thing that I was going to start the second book in the, goodness gracious, what is the Skandar and Unicorn Thief series. I was going to start book 2 in the Skandar series, but I decided actually to go with Keepers of the Lost cities, and I am over 50% into this one. I'm on chapter 26. So I am also listening to this one on audio. So what I may do is I kind of wanted to just hang out and color. I was coloring with my kid earlier today, and I was like, dang, I miss coloring and how relaxing it can be. And so I have an adult coloring book, and we have some markers that we collectively kind of share that I think I want to, just spend some time coloring some pages and making my way through another chunk of this book. But in addition to that, I ended up finishing, I was doing something at work, and I had forgotten that I had not finished Legends of Lotus Island, the series by Christina Soontornvat. And I was like, I think that the book that came out last year, I think that's it. I think it's just a quartet. And I was like, you know what? I need to finish that series. And it's a younger middle grade series, probably between the ages of, I would say, 7 to 9. So if you have a reader that's looking for younger fantasy and not some of these fantasies that are coming out now that I think are really good for 10, 11, and 12, but sometimes do a horrible job about being inclusive to 7, 8, 9, which, middle grade in itself, 8 to 12, is a very broad spectrum, not only in age, but likelihood of reading level and emotional intelligence. So that already is just a broad spectrum of a category. But I like these because I think they're really good introductory fantasy books, especially for 7 or 8 year olds that are really interested in fantasy but are not going to pick up a 400-page fantasy, or that may be just too daunting. You do have some kids in that age range that will read this, for example, right? They would enjoy this. But this series also goes all the way up to 900 pages in length for some of the books in the series. So this is not one that I would necessarily recommend to everyone. I think that this series is a good starter series. So I have all 4 books in the series, and they only take me about an hour to read each, because when I realize, I know this is kind of wild for me to say, but I definitely have come to terms with the fact that I read very fast. I don't think that I realize that a lot of times because of the comparison of me reading physically to me reading via audiobook. I don't know. I don't know if my reading speed has picked up. I don't know. And it's not for the lack of me not comprehending what I'm reading. I just am okay, it's just an interesting thing that I kind of recognize about myself. I don't know if y'all even really care about that. But I did end up reading book 1, which is the Guardian Test. So in the series, we're following a main character by the name of Plum. Plum is sent to this Guardian Academy. Her grandfather actually ends up applying on her behalf, and they're sent to Lotus Island. This is this archipelago, which of course is the series of islands, and Lotus Island is where they train these guardians. Now these guardians are solely responsible for being able to go through the process of shapeshifting and becoming these creatures that are not necessarily the equivalent of creatures that we would normally see. They're almost like a mashup of multiple animals into one, but their job is to protect other animals and the environment. So there is this environmentalist type of edge to this that I really, really enjoyed. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the second book. But in this first book, we're meeting Plum, we're meeting the secondary characters, we're kind of following her as she goes into the process of being accepted into this Guardian Academy and what they have to do in order to succeed in going from just trainees to the novice level, where they have to pass their first test, which is the Guardian Test. And we kind of watch her pitfalls, her ups and downs. She comes from a lower income family, and that is part of the conversation. Wealth disparity is a part of the conversation as well. I don't think I realized, this is my 3rd time reading this book, but it's my 1st time reading this book physically, and I don't think I realized how much Soontornvat also placed on the benefits of mindfulness and meditation. That is a huge part of this book, and part of Plum's kind of character flaw is she's like me in in the way where she spirals. When she has problems, she feels like I have to think about my problems or I'm not going to figure out how to solve them. When in order to be a guardian, in order to be able to make this transition, you have to clear your mind and be like at peace with yourself in the moment. It's very, very big on mindfulness and meditation. I didn't realize that. So I appreciated reading this the third time around, and then also Kevin Hong did the illustrations in this, so it was my first time seeing illustrations. It's not a lot of illustrations, and as a matter of fact, most of the illustrations are contained to these little bubbles that are not that big, and there's not a lot of them, so there are some illustrations but not like a whole bunch of illustrations. So I finished that one, and then literally right before sitting down to film this clip, I ended up finishing the second book, which is Legends of Lotus Islands Into the Shadow Mist. This is where I think we get this bigger conversation about ecology and the importance of understanding the interconnectedness of everything and how we are able to preserve our environments by understanding that connectivity. So I don't want to say too much because this does literally pick up right off where the first book ended, but our novices are sent on a mission at this point, and they get to explore a different island. And on this island, we have bocata trees. Is it bocati? Let me make sure I'm getting this right. It is bocati. Is it bocati? Yes. Okay, it's the bocati. It's bocati trees because they're headed to Bocati Island. And in them spending time on Bocati Island and trying to preserve the bocati trees, they learn about the ecosystem that exists on this island and how everything is so readily dependent upon each other. And there are some interesting twists and turns in this one that I didn't expect, because there is a side character in the first one that I think is a morally gray character, and then we have an adult character that just seems like she's not a good person, and so we kind of see that conversation almost come a little full circle in this one. So I really enjoyed both of those. I wish that these had gotten just a little bit more I guess just like a little bit more press, a little bit more conversation about them. I will be sharing them on Instagram at some point this week. I probably will share them a couple of times on Instagram, like once for my weekly wrap up, and I may do just like a standing post just to showcase the series, because I do think it's a really good series that needs to be highlighted more. So in that case, because I do want to be able to showcase and talk about the series as a whole, I do want to finish book 3 and 4 tonight. These will not take me very long to read. So book 3 is, we're getting a different, and I think in each one of these we're getting a different environment, which I'm liking. We're getting a different piece of this fantasy world that Suntoon has created. But this is The Legends of Lotus Island, City of Wishes, and this takes place, I think, on the second largest island in the archipelago, because Lotus Island I think is slightly bigger than this island. And then we have the Legends of Lotus Island Temple of Secrets, which this is one that I don't know anything about because I don't want to spoil myself. I only know what I know about City of Wishes because I read the synopsis for it. But I think before I go to sleep tonight, I am going to work on finishing both those books. These books on average are about 140 pages. And the text is, when I tell you the text for me is just, it's not super spaced out, but it's spaced out enough where it's like not small. It's written on a younger reading level. So there's that. So I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to do first though is I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to color for a little while. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to color for a little while because I do in fact want to color, and I'm going to listen to Keeper of the Lost Cities. I'm hoping that I can finish this before I wrap this vlog up, but I'm also not going to like fight to finish it because I have gotten through a huge chunk of it, and I've already finished Skandar. I finished the Rise of Neptune and 250 pages of this and 2 Legend of Lotus Island books, which is probably going to be 4 by the time I get finished because I really do want to make my way through them. But we'll see how much I get listened to. I probably will color for about 30-45 minutes, see how much of the book I get through, and then I probably will come back up here and finish up my 2 books in the Legends of Lotus Island series, and then I'll check in. What I'll do is after I get finished coloring, I will check in, and I think when I finish coloring, I'll give you a better synopsis, better feelings about Keeper of the Lost Cities, because I just realized I said absolutely nothing about the series, but I will. When I get finished coloring and stuff, I'll give you a little bit more insight to this book. Alright, y'all, I'll check in a little while. Okay, y'all, so clearly I spent some time coloring. This is like one of those coloring books that's like super detailed. Like, I don't know how, like, it's so much. There's so many moving pieces and parts of it. But Robin had gifted me this coloring book a while ago. It's a swear word coloring book. It's supposed to be motivational, inspirational, so that's cool. I think when I gave y'all my update upstairs, I said I was maybe around like 265 pages in, and I made it to chapter 36 and I'm 342 pages in. So I really don't have that much left at all. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it tonight. I may finish it tomorrow before I upload this vlog, but we'll see. But I just wanted to hop in really quick and explain what this book is about, because I feel like I've done a horrible job of like really explaining anything about this book. So this is the first book in the infamous Keeper of the Lost City series. This is a very long series that I think it's supposed to be 10 books long total. I think the last one comes out maybe within the next year or so. I don't know. It may not come out in 2026. It may not come out till 2027 because they are exceptionally long. And not only, I say 10 books, but really there's more like 12 because there's 2.5 books, and let me show you like how big even the 0.5 books are. They're supposed to be, a lot of people say that they're just filler. Let me move this Land of the Story series, which is another fantasy series I need to do. But this is book 8.5. This is not even a full book in the series. This is literally just a 0.5 in the series. So I have been interested in reading this series for a long time. These books came out a very long time ago, like 12 years ago, I think. This first book was published. Let's see the original. 13 years ago. The original pub date is 2012. So 13 years ago, this series was started. And I have not read the series, and I think this is kind of one of those quintessential middle grade fantasy series that you need to pick up. I think like Warriors fits into that. I think Percy Jackson fits into that. Like, these are kind of those series. Even Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. Those are those old school series that I think still hold up to the test of time to some degree. You know, talking 15, 20 years later for some of those books. But this follows a main character by the name of Sophie who can read minds. So she's telepathic, and she lives with humans, and she is discovered by another character in his family, and she comes to find out that she's an elf. And so she gets whisked away to their world where she's attending this magical school where she's learning to basically harness her powers, and everybody goes through this manifestation process where they learn what their gift is. Unfortunately, like, she has like no history or knowledge of like who she is. And so as you're going through the course of the novel, there are things that are revealed that I think Sophie just kind of like absentmindedly says. And the adults in the room are kind of like, how could you possibly know that? Like, one, you haven't grown up here. Two, that's classified information that no one should know. And so there's been a couple of interesting moments where she's kind of revealed her knowledge of things, and the adults are kind of panicking because they're like, how could you possibly know that information? You should have no idea that any of those things exist. And she doesn't really know like who her parents were, and so she is living with this elderly couple and trying to get to know them. There's some interesting like just social relationships going on with a kid that she met. It was kind of like an apothecary type of setting where she met him, and there's close friends, but it's clear he has a crush on her. But the kid who helped find her Fitz, she kind of has a crush on him. So it has those like tween early like romantic crush type things going on, which I think is very interesting because I don't often see that combination, I think, in a lot of middle grade fantasy, but I think that it definitely does appeal to the audience because, like I said before, like the Legend of Lotus Island series, like these both technically fit within the age bracket of middle grade fantasy. However, this is not one that I would openly recommend to, you know, an 8-9-year-old, depending upon how voracious of a reader they are, right? Especially now thinking about the kids that we're dealing with, a generation of kids that were severely impacted by the pandemic. I don't think that they're going to be inclined to pick up this chunky book. I mean, this is the first book in the series, y'all, and it is almost 500 pages long. this is just the first book in the series, and if it's not 500 pages, I think, well, I mean, outside of the things, let's see here, yeah, outside the acknowledgments, it's 488 pages. That is a lot. That is a lot for a middle grade book. When you think about 8 to 12, it's a lot, but there's a history behind that, and certain books that kind of set the tone for these middle grade books to be massive, and it's a struggle now, I think, because you have some authors who are writing these tomes, and as people who are booksellers or librarians or even parents, caregivers, or family members that are interested in providing books to readers that they know in that age group, it becomes hard to recommend and to provide. So I think I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I do know that I do want to finish the rest of the Lotus Island books. I don't think that those are going to take me much longer, but what I am going to do is I'm going to, trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. I may finish the Lotus Island books and then go ahead and start editing these clips so that I don't have to do much editing coming up. I think that's what I'm going to do so that I just will have to do that closing clip and be done with it. I think that's what I'll end up doing. See, like, that makes the most sense. Finish the Lotus Island stuff and then go from there. So yeah, good. It's interesting. It's very fast paced. It's a lot of different elements, but I can see already how expansive this world can get, and how much detail is put into these books. So I will not be surprised about how much she's going to build just on the foundation of us having a main character who has no idea of who she is, in context of this elf world, and how she's going to navigate being in this world. I think there's a lot that she can do with it. Interesting conversations about wealth and position in this community, social status, which is not what I was expecting, but there is quite a bit of that, I think, and you see it a lot in the interactions between the kids. So far so good. I can't tell, and I hate that, just to give y'all a heads up, being completely transparent, the audiobooks for these are only available via Audible. They're Audible exclusives, which I hate that. Not gonna lie to y'all, I hate that. You literally cannot get these audiobooks anywhere else. So at some point I either am gonna have to switch to reading physical, or figure out how I'm gonna keep doing the audiobooks to have the first 3, but we're gonna have to decide how I'm gonna do that, because your library's not gonna have them, Hoopla's not gonna have, nobody's gonna have them, because they're Audible exclusive audiobooks. And same thing, I think I also wanted to finish Fablehaven, and I like the audiobooks for those, also Audible exclusives, which I'm trying to transition away from Audible and switch to Libro FM, but it's like 1 or 2 things like that kind of I'm trying to wrap up so that I can make the transition. Okay, so I switched it. I have 2 hours and 38 minutes left of the audiobook, which is not like I said, while I'm probably starting the process of cleaning up in the morning, I probably will go ahead and finish this one out so that we can wrap this vlog up. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the Legend of Lotus Island series, start the editing process for this vlog, and then I will probably do just one final check-in where I talk about finishing up Keeper of the Lost Cities, and then the other 2 Lotus Island books, and then that'll be it. And then I have to decide what my next vlog will be, because yeah, we'll make decisions. I'll think about that. All right, y'all. Bye. Hello. This is I'm sitting on my bed and filming this last clip, which I don't do very often. I have done once before, but hello, welcome to the last clip. I'm wrapping this vlog up. I have edited the video. I'm trying to hurry up and film this clip so I can add it to the vlog, get this rendered, and then upload it on YouTube so I can go up. I have been cleaning the house like crazy this morning, just because it needed to be, and I had not taken the opportunity to really clean this house, getting laundry folded, put away, cleaning bathrooms, etc. It's been a lot. I'm trying to sitting on a blanket that's a little bit more stable. Okay, so let's jump right into what I ended up finishing. It's funny because I didn't even talk about it. Kind of talked about it. I said I had an hour left, but I did end up finishing Scandor and the Unicorn Thief. I left my physical copy of it at work, but I did enjoy it. It was an excellent read. 4.5 stars. Wasn't a perfect book for me, but it was really good, really intriguing. So many great elements in that book. I highly recommend it, and I'm going to be working my way through the series. I did also end up finishing The Rise of Neptune. I talked about it, but I never said that I finished it, because I think at the time of me filming that clip, I never talked about the fact that, hey, by the way, I ended up finishing The Rise of Neptune. It was really good, 5-star read, and I talked about that pretty much in great detail. Two things that I didn't work through as much that I wanted to work through this week. I didn't get to The Poison King. I probably will not read this week. I have some other ideas of what I want to dive into in this upcoming week, but this is a high priority before the year ends, and I do think I'm going to have a video coming up where I talk about the books that I want to finish before the year is over with, and that's one of them. And the second thing that I did work through a little bit was Priory of the Orange Tree. From the last time that I talked about it, I hadn't really made a lot of progress. I went to go listen to this on audiobook, and absolutely not. I can't listen to this on audiobook without having the physical book with me. It's going to have to be an immersion read. There's no humanly possible way that I'm going to read that book without, listen to that book on audio without having the physical or at least the ebook with me. Not gonna happen. I tried, and I was like, yep, this is too much. I can already tell. And we had that whole conversation about how my brain has some difficulty processing fantasy sometimes. But while I was cleaning this morning, let me move my bookmark, because this is the book that I am prioritizing finishing today or tomorrow, but I was not going to try to, I think I said this last night too, I was not going to try to rush to finish this before the vlog ends, but I literally really don't have that much of this book left. And if I could get this bookmark, which I'm struggling to do, bookmark. Let's go. Okay, I got it now. I'm on chapter 42, as you can see. I only have this much left, and keep in mind that part of this is just also a sample of the second book in the series. I am almost 400 pages into this, which means I only have a little under 100 pages left of this book. This is such a complicated book. I do not know who to trust. I have feelings about everybody involved. I think everybody's suspicious, and I'm very shocked about that. I was not going into this thinking that there was going to be such complexity in characters, but there is, because listening to this while I was getting some household chores done, I was kind of like, yo, whoa, this is a lot. Y'all are doing a lot, and I feel bad for Sophie, because who can Sophie trust at this point? So I'm really, really into this, and I can understand why people love this series so much. Last but not least, end up finishing book 3 and the Legends of Lotus Island series, which is City of Wishes. I did end up finishing this book. Oh gosh, this gets deep. Also another series where I was not expecting there to be as many twists and turns as there are, and not as many whoa moments attached to it, but there are a lot of whoa moments attached to this. So I did not end up getting to Temple of Secrets. Actually, I'm about to take a little bit of a break. We just had lunch, but I'm gonna take a break, and I'm gonna finish up this book because I'm gonna start it and finish it because it's not gonna take me that long, and because I'm antsy to figure out what's gonna happen next. I just didn't get to it because I finished the third book and I was like, I'm just tired. I'm exhausted, and I'm trying to do a better job about listening to my body when I feel like, oh gosh, girl, it's time to give your body some rest. So, like I said, still, this remains excellent series. If you have not had the opportunity to try it, I highly recommend trying out the series. And that's it, y'all. I mean, I read a lot. I read 3 books in that series, read 400 pages of Keeper of the Lost Cities, finished The Rise of Neptune, and then read some of Prior of the Orange Tree, and finished Scandar of the Unicorn 3. This was a great week of mood reading. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, not gonna lie to y'all. Even with how busy I was this week, I thoroughly enjoyed my time being able to mood read. So there's that. But all right, y'all, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're looking for ways to follow me on social media, support the channel, all those links will be down in the description box below, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye.